Copper, the big mover in the metals quadrant today, a significant sell-off, down almost 2.5%. Copper is now almost negative on the month. It's virtually at unchanged right now, being about 0.25% from turning negative on the month. That's a pretty significant turnaround in this last week to 10 days that we've got left in January. We have a 50% sell-off of the last 4 days up. So we had 4 consecutive sessions up prior to today, and today by itself has retraced over 50% of that move. So it's definitely a significant sell-off in copper. And as I've mentioned before, copper is one of the main indicators. Breaking out to the upside would be a sign that potentially there was good news on the global economic front, especially with US-China trade talks. But China's GDP was not a good factor today. China's GDP grew at a disappointing 6.6% rate. That is one of the lowest in years. Analysts were expecting about 6.8 to 7%. So it's not that big of a miss, but again, emphasizing the sort of weakness in the global economy, weakness in the Chinese economy could be seen down the road as a spark or a reason for China to do either more stimulus, of which they've done quite a bit already, or to come to some sort of concession to the U.S. so they could get a U.S. trade deal done. Davos is happening right now, the Global Economic Conference, and President Trump is not there. Emmanuel Macron of France is not there. Theresa May is not there. It is unlikely that we get a significant move forward, at least at that conference, in terms of overall global growth concerns, with such influential leaders not attending the conference, dealing with their own domestic issues. Also, the IMF report, which was released and talked about in Davos, showed a global GDP growth reduced by the IMF and global crude oil demand reduced as well. That's also hitting copper. Again, China being the biggest user, you get that GDP and then you get a negative report out of the IMF. They only cut global GDP forecast by 0.1%, but still one of the larger stories and one of the reasons that copper is selling off as I speak to you now.